So I've been meaning to read Attaboy by Tony McMillen for a while now, primarily just because, wow, look, what a cool cover. But what's amazing is that this cover is like almost undersells just how good and how unique Tony's style in this is. I was able to meet Tony at HeroesCon this past weekend, where I picked up Attaboy, Two Kids in a Trench Coat, and then these two original pieces, which are killer. And I was just so impressed when I sat down and read through both of these books today. Again, at just how incredibly expressive Tony's style is. I mean, seeing his art, seeing his originals, it was like, oh, there's already a lot going on here. Like, there's a lot of really high energy line work that is like propulsively expressive and emotional. But it isn't until seeing his art in like a sequential format that I really was able to see just how good his storytelling is and how much he's able to capture, especially with the incorporation of color. You know, because already his line work, his black and white line work is so expressive, but then you add these huge explosions of color to complement it, and it is such a tour de force in visual splendor here. Some really incredible colors. He works a lot in these primary, especially in this book, of like these pinks and blues and yellows popping in a really major way. Tony's design is killer for these characters and for these creatures, which you can see in this double pager, using just a few lines to denote so much depth, so much character, even just in really small formats. They all have totally unique characters. And this panel, this double pager, is killer. Where you've got this this figure in the back with this broader cloak, which you'll see also in Two Kids in a Trench Coat, and so much awesome storytelling going on within the space that that is afforded by these panels. Just really killer work. I love how both of these pages have these huge vertical stretches that are making this page feel so much bigger than it actually is, just by drawing your eye up and down the whole thing rather than left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. Really love this book. I love how personal it is as he's dealing with his own childhood, talking about his family situation, which is a theme here in Two Kids in a Trench Coat, which is like the start of this autobiographical work. These colors are killer. I love how the gradiented pinks and yellows are juxtaposed a little harder than in Attaboy against these flat planes of color, which really make, especially like the pinks of this character's face, really make them pop. I love how much paint you have escaping the borders here, which make it feel like the energy of these scenes is simply too much to be contained within four lines of a panel. Also, the writing in this is excellent, not only just in the character work and the explorations of Tony's childhood, they're a little more explicit than an Attaboy, but you've got some really fun alliterative work here, a menagerie of muscular madmen, the best of the best. You've got none of these were as consistent as this cavalcade of carnage bringers. Like, just it's as fun to read as it is to look at his lines. As I said, you can see kind of like what became that two-page spread in Attaboy. I don't know if this explicitly became the Attaboy, but immediately it was like, oh wow, it's just like that page in Attaboy. Really fun book, really love this, really excited to see what this becomes in a longer work. One thing that I think that Tony is so good at is all of his work is intuitive. Like, you've got what in the hands of a weaker artist might feel busy or like hard to read. But I think all of his work is like supremely legible. Like, it is just so intuitive what's going on in these pieces, in spite of the high energy, like very quick brush strokes. It's all like, there's so much life, one, with the depth of his brush strokes and the variance of his brush strokes. Things like, obviously, the folds implied here along the cloak, and then the fold and like the wave, the rolling wave of the cloak here as it gathers and in these darker moments. So good. I'm so impressed with Tony's work. I'm so glad I picked up these two books. Really impressive stuff. Super excited to pick up some more books from Tony, and super glad to have these in my collection.